Good afternoon, dear learners, dear grade 12 students. Welcome to this session, to this seminar, to give you some hints and to explain Unit 11. At the beginning, allow me to introduce my colleagues in the studio. Miss Ula Al-Mu'i, English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate. Good afternoon, Miss Ula.
Good afternoon, sir.
And Miss Rula Bitar, English Language Teacher, Latakia Directorate. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
And this is me, Abdul Majid Gorli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Language. Welcome to this seminar. We are going to start right away with Unit 11, Epics. This is literary section. So, Unit 11, the title is Epics. The lesson plan, Miss Ula is going to talk about the lesson plan, please.
Okay, well, this unit is called Epics. It's part of module number 6, which contains epics and masterpieces. In this unit, we're going to start with listening, and it's about a piece of writing, and we can see about, I'm not going to say anything about it. So it's listening for comprehension. With the speaking again, asking and giving information again related to the epic topic. And with reading, we have the Epic of Gilgamesh. With the vocabulary, we have some literary terms that are connected to epics and literature in general. With the grammar, we have reported speech, and with pronunciation, we're going to have something about strong and weak forms of auxiliary. And in everyday English, we can learn about being tactful, and we can sum up with writing about a summary of an epic story.
Very good. The first thing we are going to start with is the listening. We always say listening is the most important skill.
The first step.
Although in our schools, some of the teachers don't work on it, but most of the teachers I know work on the listening. That's why our students are good listeners.
Yes.
We are going to listen a first time.
Unit 11, Recording 11.2. Listen to the following extract about Hemingway's novel, The Old Man and the Sea, and choose the correct answer. Santiago is an old fisherman who has gone 84 days without fishing. He has now been termed as Salau by the local people, which means that he is suffering from the worst form of unluckiness. Once a strong and healthy man, he was great at his job and would always catch the best fish. Now he is an old and poor man with nothing much to keep his days and mind busy. Even the boy whom he loves dearly and had trained well is now not allowed by his parents to work with the old man because of his unlucky strike. Manolin, the young boy, however, loves Santiago and cares for him. He often brings him food and tea, and they talk about all things under the sun, especially Santiago's favourite, the American baseball. Determined to change his luck and bring home a catch big enough to get the town talking, the old man sets out on the sea on the 85th day. He goes out into the Gulf Stream, and his bait soon gets taken by a big fish, which might be a marlin. But the fish will not relent so easily. The old man is also determined and won't let go easily. What follows is a fight for life, with both sides being equally brave and determined. But man is not made for defeat, he said. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated.
Well, this was the first time. It's an extract about Hemingway's novel,
The Old Man and the Sea.
The Old Man.
We used to have this kind of novel in, at
The first
university.
year.
Yes. We are going to listen a second time to answer the questions.
Unit 11, Recording 11.2. Listen to the following extract about Hemingway's novel, The Old Man and the Sea, and choose the correct answer. Santiago is an old fisherman who has gone 84 days without fishing. He has now been termed as Salau by the local people, which means that he is suffering from the worst form of unluckiness. Once a strong and healthy man, he was great at his job and would always catch the best fish. Now he is an old and poor man with nothing much to keep his days and mind busy. Even the boy whom he loves dearly and had trained well is now not allowed by his parents to work with the old man because of his unlucky strike. Manolin, the young boy, however, loves Santiago and cares for him. He often brings him food and tea, and they talk about all things under the sun, especially Santiago's favourite, the American baseball. Determined to change his luck and bring home a catch big enough to get the town talking, the old man sets out on the sea on the 85th day. He goes out into the Gulf Stream, and his bait soon gets taken by a big fish, which might be a marlin. But the fish will not relent so easily. The old man is also determined and won't let go easily. What follows is a fight for life, with both sides being equally brave and determined. But man is not made for defeat, he said. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated.
Well, we go to the questions. Number one, Miss Ula.
Okay, number one, with choose the correct answer, of course, we have A, B, C, or D. Number one, Santiago is an old fisherman who has gone space days without fishing. Is it more than 70, more than 80, less than 40, or less than 20? And the answer is B, more than 80, because he went like for 84 days without fishing.
More than 80. Miss Rula, second question.
Number two, Santiago used to catch A, low quality fish, B, high quality fish, C, river fish, D, turtles and shells. Of course, Santiago used to catch high quality fish because he used to be a great fisherman.
High quality fish. Number three.
Number three, Manolin used to space Santiago in order not to make him feel lonely, teach, disturb, please, or hit. Manolin is his friend, so he used to please him in order not to feel lonely.
Please, letter C. Number four.
Santiago fought a large fish called dolphin, shark, whale, marlin. Of course, the correct answer is D, marlin.
Marlin. Number five.
Number five, the main theme of The Old Man and the Sea is about A, determination, B, losing hope, C, friendship, or D, traveling. Well, it's about many themes, but the main one is determination.
Determination. Right. Preview. Have you ever heard of historical hero? Name him. What are the courageous aspects in his life? Tell the class. And what characteristics identify a hero? We are going to talk about the epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is an epic. We're not going to read it,
Of course.
but we can summarize it to the students. For the teachers at school, you can divide the students into groups and give each group part of the text, and each group can read about their part, and after that the teacher puts the questions on the board and each group can answer their part, the questions about their part. In the end, all the students will know the answers of the whole text. Will you say anything about Gilgamesh?
Well, Gilgamesh was a two-third god and one-third human. He was so strong, but he treated his people harshly. He wasn't so kind to them at first. So they asked the gods for help, and they created some kind of an equal, a person who is equal Enkidu. At first they fought, but then became friends. Well, the main theme of the Epic of Gilgamesh, again, there are so many themes like friendship, love, war, many themes, but the main one is searching for eternity, which he looked for. He started his journey after the death of his friend, but of course it is impossible. So in the end, he figures out that it's impossible. to be eternal.
Well, we come to the questions. Choose the correct answer A, B, C, or D. Miss Rula, number 1,
The
Anu
first
is an or a.
Anu is A, an earthly god, B, heavenly god, C, Superman, D, a wild animal. Of course, he is a heavenly god. It was created by Enkidu.
Okay. Number
Sorry,
two.
it creates Enkidu.
Yes.
Number 2, later Gilgamesh and Enkidu, A, left each other, B, parted, C, befriended, or D, became enemies. Well, they became good friends, so it's letter C, they befriended.
Number 3.
Number 3.
At the sudden days of Enkidu, Gilgamesh didn't take care of himself because he was A, sad for him, B, afraid of death, C, pessimistic, D, so happy. The answer is B, afraid of death.
Afraid of death. Number 4.
Number 4, Gilgamesh was in deep sadness because he realized that human efforts last for space in the face of death. A limited time, B, a long time, C, forever, or D, unlimited time. Well, we can see that 3 answers are almost the
similar.
same. It's A, limited time, because it's
Temporary.
Yes,
temporary.
temporary.
Of
Number 5.
The immortality Gilgamesh desires is A, possible, B, invisible, C, reasonable, D, achievable. Of course, it's infeasible.
Infeasible. Infeasible. Now, decide if the following statements are true or false. Number 1, Miss Arda.
Number 1, compared with Gilgamesh, Enkidu is very strong. This is correct. He was almost equal to him.
Number 2.
Number 2, in his second dream, Gilgamesh is able to lift the huge stone. Of course, the second dream, it was about an ex that was at his door, and he neither lift it nor tearing it. That was his second dream, so the statement is false.
False. Number 3.
Number 3, because of his love to Enkidu, Gilgamesh starts his journey searching for mortality. No, this is false.
False. Number 4.
The old man advises Gilgamesh to continue his journey. That's false.
False. Epics, reading, the workbook, the 1001 Nights.
Or the
It's
Arabian
very
Nights.
famous, the Arabian Nights.
The Arabian Nights.
It has 2 names.
2 names.
It can be called Arabian Nights or the 1001 Nights, and in the Arab world it's more common as the 1001 Nights.
Exactly. yes.
It's about Shahrazad
And
And
Shahryar.
and
Shahriyar.
Shahriyar.
He was a king, and his first wife was unfaithful, and because of that he decided to marry a woman every night and kill her by the end of the day. Well, with Shahrazad, she decided to help herself and other women, of course. So she started reading a story without ending it every night and leaving it at a very exciting point, so that he has to stay to the second day. And this continued till this 1001 night. When
Until he changed,
he changed
his
his heart. Yes, exactly.
Yes. The Arabian Nights. We are going to answer the questions. Choose A, B, C, or D. Number 1, Rula.
The protagonist, heroine in the Arabian Nights is Shahriyar, Shahrazad, C, Jinn, D, servant. Of course, it's Shahrazad.
The heroine in the Arabian Nights is Shahrazad. Number 2, Miss
Number
Rula.
2, the reason for killing women in the Arabian Nights is A, loyalty, B, faithfulness, C, love, or D, unfaithfulness. It's D, unfaithfulness.
Unfaithfulness.
Faithfulness.
His first wife was
First, of
unfaithful.
course.
Number 3, Miss Rula.
The Arabian Nights has been affecting, imitating, attracting, or narrating many world literary works. Of course, the Arabian Nights has been affecting many world literary works
It had
because many
influence.
writers were influenced by its narration, so they imitate it in their works.
Okay, Miss Rula.
Number 4, the Arabian Nights is seen as a book of literary values. A, normal, B, ordinary, C, outstanding, or D, poor. It's C, outstanding. It was extraordinary.
Outstanding.
Number 5, the devices used in the Arabian Nights are for letter writers. The devices used in the Arabian Nights are useless, B, inconvenient, C, useful, or D, unsuitable. Of course, the devices were useful for many
Useful.
writers.
Useful.
Useful.
Now, write true or
Or
false. Number 1.
Okay, number 1, the Arabian Nights is also known as the Thousand and One Nights. It's correct.
Correct. True.
Number 2, the Arabian Nights has never been translated into different languages. That's false,
False.
because it was translated to many languages over the world.
Yes. Number 3.
Okay, the Arabian Nights functions as a means of cultural language between East and West, and this is correct.
True.
True.
False.
Number 4, the Arabian Nights employs narrative devices still used in creating fictional works today. That's true.
True.
And number 5, Shahryar kills his first wife after finding out she is unfaithful, and this is correct.
True. Literary terms. We have the word novel. The novel is the book written
Piece
in
of
narration.
writing, yes.
Narration. The poet is the person who
person who
writes
writes
poetry,
poetry or poems.
verse. Prose is kind of writing.
Writing flow of everyday language.
It doesn't have rhyme
It
or
doesn't
rhythmic
follow any
style.
rhythm.
The style is the way
The way, the method we write.
the writer writes through. The plot,
The
The
incidents,
story.
how are they arranged in the story?
satire,
Satire is
Criticizing
criticizing, tragedy,
something very sad with a very sad
It's
ending.
very sad indeed.
yes, and masterpiece.
Again,
The
something, a
best
piece of
work
writing.
written by a writer.
It doesn't have to be written. It's a work that is
Something very
outstanding,
valuable.
very valuable and outstanding.
Questions. Choose A, B, C, or
Or D.
D. Number 1. Whose turn? Ola.
Doesn't matter. Okay, number 1, writers use to criticize the bad deeds of people. Use tragedy, use style, use satire, or use plot. It's letter C, satire.
Satire. Miss Rula, number 2.
Number 2, Romeo and Juliet is a novel, poem, tragedy, or satire. I will continue with the sentence. Romeo and Juliet is a that shows how hate destroys love. Of course, it's a tragedy.
Tragedy. It's written by Shakespeare.
And ends by the death of the heroes.
Most of his plays were tragedies.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, is the greatest work written by a writer. It's A, masterpiece, B, novel, C, plot, and D, tragedy. Since we're talking about the greatest work, it's a masterpiece, letter A.
Letter A.
Number 4, Robinson Crusoe is the first written in English literature. It's 198 pages. A, epic, B, poem, C, tragedy, D, novel. Of course, it's a novel.
Novel. It's a novel. Number 5.
Number 5, Nizar Qabbani was a brilliant romantic Syrian. A, poem, B, poet, C, poetry, or D, poetic. Well, he was a famous poet.
Poet. Nizar Qabbani was a famous poet. Number 6. Rula.
When a tragedy reaches its, the audience ought to face a solution. A, satire, B, prose, C, climax,
Climax.
D, climax, D,
Metaphor.
metaphor. The answer is climax.
Climax. Climax is the top of the scenes.
Tension.
Of the tension, yes, the tension.
Yes.
Now, pronunciation, strong and weak forms of auxiliary verbs. In brief, sentences and questions are weak. The auxiliary in sentences and questions, they are weak.
You don't concentrate on them. when
They
you
are
There's
strong
no stress.
in short answers.
answers.
Only in short answers
We
they
have
are.
strong forms.
So dear students, if you want to differentiate between when it is weak and when it is strong, sentences and questions, they are weak, and in short answers, they are strong.
So to make a long story short, if they are strong with short answers,
Mhm.
and that's it.
Here we have the auxiliary verb am. If it is am I late
It's weak.
question, it's weak. And in short answers, yes, I am
Yes, I
It's
am.
very strong.
strong. So are in questions and in sentences we say we are, or are we? Are we? Are they going? Yes, they are.
They are, yeah.
Strong in short
Strong.
answers, but it's weak in sentences,
Sentences
and
and
questions.
questions.
But it doesn't have to be yes or no. Short answer can be like with Ali is.
Yes.
They are.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to start with yes or no.
Yeah, okay. We have is. Is can be pronounced in two ways. S,
S and
or
S.
Z. Like the cat's fast. It's S. Or who's coming.
Is.
And Ali is, yes, it is. Was, Ola.
Well, with was, we can pronounce it as was. With weak, was the weather terrible? Yes, it was. This is strong. With has, it can be pronounced as Z or S. Like, for example, has the rose died or the milk's gone? This way, S, it's pronounced as S when it's abbreviated. With short answer, it's weak, like yes, it has.
Actually, the thing that determines the pronunciation is the preceding letter. PKF, S, sh, ch, the S when it comes after PTK, F, th. PTK, F, th, the S is S. And it is after S, SS, SH, CH, X, Z, and J. It is, it is Z after the remaining sounds. So the one that determines the pronunciation. Dear students, we can learn them through this way, or we can learn how to say the word
The
by
simple
heart.
way.
We move. Choose
Example.
A, B, C, or D. Number one.
Number one, which of these sentences has a strong R? Well, A, they are going to the park. B, they are swimming. C, they aren't sleepy. D, yes, they are. So it's letter D, yes, they are.
Short answer. As we said, short answers, it's strong. Ola.
Number two, which of these sentences has a weak auxiliary? Yes, they can. Yes, they are. Yes, he is. D, is he late? And this is the weak
Because
form.
it's a question.
Yes,
We come to grammar. Reported
reported speech.
speech. Direct and
And
indirect.
indirect.
Ola.
Okay, to start with, when we report something between inverted commas,
Two inverted
Two
commas,
inverted
quotation
commas.
marks.
Yes,
we
we
can
have-
say quotation marks.
And
We,
we
re-
have
we
a
report
comma
the
before.
same words.
the same words. But when we move the inverted commas, we need to say, for example, he said that, or we don't need to mention that. We need to pay attention to two things. First of all, we have to use the past form of the verb. So if it's a present simple, it has to move to past simple, present continuous, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect, and
We go
etc.
one step back in the tense.
Yeah, we go one step back. If the introductory is
In the
he
past.
said or she said, we can report, but this is not in the baccalaureate, we can report saying he says.
Exactly. Yes.
When it is he says, that tense remains as
The
it
same.
is. But when we start the introductory, when it is he said or she said, we need to go one step back. Something is going to change. The pronoun I
Yes.
becomes
Change
he.
pronouns,
So this is the
possessive
second step.
adjectives.
So the first step we have to move one step back. The second step is to
Change the
pronoun.
article, the
Yes.
possessive adjectives. My becomes his or her.
Exactly.
Or your. I becomes
We
he
have to
or
understand
she.
the sentence
So,
to make sure.
When you report, you change
The
the
pronoun.
article, the pronoun,
And
according
time
to
expression.
the beginning.
Adverbial phrases
If it
referring
is-
to
If it is he said, I becomes he. If it is she said,
She.
I
She.
becomes. He and she don't change.
Yes, of course. And they.
And they.
The third step is to change time expressions. Like we're talking about something today, we reported
Everything
as
near
that
becomes
becomes
far.
far, and everything far becomes near.
Now becomes then.
Yes.
Today,
that day,
that day.
That day,
Yesterday, the
tomorrow, the
previous
next
day.
day,
Here,
there.
there.
there. Well, let's continue. We mentioned it without reading. Would you
Yeah.
like to read it?
Yes, there are two ways of reporting what a person has said. Direct, this is direct, and indirect. In direct speech, we repeat the original speaker's exact words. So when we have quotation mark, we repeat the exact word, we change nothing. with remarks thus repeated are placed between inverted commas, and a comma is placed immediately before the remark. But with direct speech, it is found in conversation, in books, in plays, and quotation. In indirect speech, we give the exact meaning of the remark or speech without necessarily using the speaker's exact word. So we can
Only we
change.
report the meaning
good.
with
So
different
we are
words.
talking about direct
And
and
indirect.
indirect. Direct and indirect. She said, he's my son. She said that he was her son. Notice we changed the possessive adjective and the
The
pronoun.
pronouns.
So she said, he is my son. He is not changing now because he remains he. But my becomes her because it is she said.
Well, I'd like to attract the students' attention to something. Don't try to translate to understand, because this is kind of confusing. For example, when we're going to have something about the reported question, she asked me what my name was. It doesn't mean that I have changed my name, but this is reported speech.
Mhm.
So they don't have to translate because this is kind of confusing for some students.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I'm
this
ill
one, like this one. He was her son. Well, he's still her son, but with reported
because
we
you
use it this way.
reported it. You say that. I'm ill, she said. She said that
She was.
was.
yes.
she was. So because it is she said, we said she was.
Mhm.
If it was he said,
He
he
was.
was.
He was.
First and second person pronouns and possessive
Possessive
adjectives
adjectives.
normally change.
To
Yes,
third
Rula?
To the third person, except when the speaker is reporting his own words.
Mhm.
Now the pronouns I becomes he or she. Me becomes him or her. My becomes his or her. Mine becomes his or hers. We becomes they. But we don't change they, he or she.
Yes. Mas'ala, will you read I saw her
Of course.
the day before?
I saw her the day before yesterday, he said. Now the I changed to he,
He.
and everything that is related must be changed. I saw her the day before yesterday. He said that I changed to he, so is in the simple past, it tends to be past perfect. So he had seen her 2 days before. Instead of yesterday, we use 2 days before. I'll do it tomorrow. Will would become would. He promised that he would do it the next day, so it doesn't have to be told and said. We can use different verbs like promised.
Just one thing.
Please.
So if the students were astonished why we said 2 days, because this is not yesterday. This is the day before. The day before yesterday, so it has become 2 days before. Now,
Okay. She said, my brother got married a year ago. She said that her brother, instead of my brother, we use her,
Her
brother,
brother.
got married a year ago. Got married a year before or the previous year. This is ago. Instead of ago, we
again,
use
got
before.
married becomes had got
Had got
Of
married.
course.
married.
Past
So
simple
the past
become
simple becomes past perfect.
Rula,
Now
adverbs
adverbs,
and adverbial
adverbs and
phrases.
adverbial phrases of time change as follows. Today becomes that day. Yesterday it becomes the day before or the previous day. Last becomes the previous. Tomorrow the next or the following day.
or the day after. Ola,
Now,
Okay.
yes.
Now, with reported questions, we have to remember one thing. This is not a question anymore.
Mhm.
So when we make question, we invert the verb and the subject.
Mhm.
Since it's not a question, we have no inversion. So, and again, we don't have a question mark because it's not a question.
and I want to remind the students with something.
Yes.
Do, does, and did are dropped.
Because we're not, it's
We
not a
don't,
question
Do,
again.
again.
does,
We
and did
don't
are
need
dropped.
them.
The other auxiliaries move to be in front
After.
of the subject, like
We don't
a
convert
sentence.
the subject with the auxiliary.
Yes, like in the question.
For example, he said, where is the station? He asked, where stays the same? Now we start with the subject because it's not a question. Where the station was,
Was.
because we have to remember the 3 steps we've been talking about. So
Mhm.
we still use the past, we still change the pronoun, and we still change the time expressions.
It's no more a question, it becomes an affirmative sentence.
Exactly.
So when we turn direct questions into indirect speech, the following changes are necessary. First, tenses, pronouns and possessive, adjectives, adverbs of time and place. Second, the interrogative form of the verb changes to the affirmative form.
Yes.
And the third part is the question mark is omitted in indirect questions. And again, of course, like you've said.
Good.
Yes.
We come to the exercise. Choose A, B,
Choose
C,
A, B,
or
C,
D. Miss
or D.
Rula, number one.
Number 1, I will have to get up early, he said. A, he will have to get up early. B, he would have to get up early. C, he will has to get up early. D, he did get up early. Of course, when we have I will have to get up early and it's not direct speech, so we are going to change the verbs, the tense of the verb and the pronoun. So I, it becomes he, will becomes would. So
Would.
the correct answer is B, he would have to get up early.
Thank you. Number two.
Number 2, I don't really like traveling by train. This is present simple. She told me she, present simple turns to be past simple. So A, she didn't really like. B, she doesn't really like. C, she liked. Or D, she would like traveling by train. So the answer is A, she didn't really like, because it's simple past, it tends to be past simple.
Past simple.
Simple
Good.
present tends to be past simple.
Miss Rula.
Number 3, it's an easy way to travel. She said an easy way to travel. So it's indirect speech. The answers are she is, she was, it was, it is. So we have here, we have to change the present simple to past simple. So the answer is C, it was.
It was. She said it was an easy way to travel. Number 4.
Number
Hala.
4, I want to see the water wheels there. She wanted to see them. She told, well, we have to use object pronouns after that, so it's not the correct answer. She told me she wanted to see. She said me again. After said, we can't use the object pronoun, and
Yes.
she says me because we have past, so it's not says me. So the correct answer is B, she told me.
She told me. Usually, said does not need an object, but told or tell,
Intransitive
it
verb.
needs an object. Rula,
Number
number
five.
5.
She told they had been to Hama before. A, I. B, mine. C, my. D, me. She told me.
She told me.
That's the correct
This is similar
answer.
to the previous one. Number 6.
Number 6, she said hadn't seen everything. Well, A, there. B, they. C, there. Or D, theirs. Well, here we need to repeat the sentence with the different pronouns. She said they, B, letter B, hadn't
Letter B.
seen everything.
Exactly. Number 7.
Number 7, he asked me, what's the time? B, what time was it? C, what the time was? D, what was the time? Of course, the correct answer is what the time was, because it's no more a question, it's a statement, affirmative statement, and we have to change the tense to the past.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Number 8.
Okay, number 8. Before we do number 8, we have to remind students that if the question doesn't start with a question word, we use if or whether.
Yes,
To
no
relate.
questions. We need to use if or
If or
whether.
whether.
Yes.
Exactly. So he wanted to know if in Damascus. A, did she leave? B, she leaves. C, she is living. D, she lived. Well, A, did she leave? This is a question, and we said that it's not a question anymore. B, she leaves. This is present, and we need to use the past. She is living, again present, not working. So the answer is letter D, she lived.
Yes, exactly. Number 9.
9,
please.
he asked how long to get home. A, it took me. B, doesn't take me. C, did it take me? D, it takes me. The correct answer is A, it took me. He asked how long it took me to get home.
Yes. Number 10.
Number 10, my mother wanted to know, and again, it doesn't have to start with asked. We
Mhm.
can change the verb into something else,
Wanted
like
to know.
wanted to know. A, where is the key? Not working, again, this is a question. B, where the key is, well, this is a present, so not working. C, where the key was, we have to think about that. And D, where was the key? This is a question, so we move back to letter C, where the key was.
Where the key was. My mother wanted to know where the key was. The original question is where is the key?
Yes.
Where's the key? So it is she asked me, or my mother wanted to know where. We take is to in front of
the subject.
subject, and we go 1 tense back. It is where the key was.
11.
Number 11.
11, we have a question in the past simple, so we have to change the tense to the past perfect. What time did the film start?
He asked me.
He asked me what time the film starts. B, what time the film had started. C, what time it starts. D, what time does it start? Of course, the correct answer is B, what time the film had started, because in the first one we have past simple, so we have to change it to the past perfect.
Yes.
Number 12, he asked if she was going to the cinema. A, she, B, hers, C, her, or D, she's. She asked again in the simple past, so she was going to the cinema. We use the subject. He asked her.
Her.
He asked her, letter C.
The object pronoun. She asked her. Everyday English. Usually, in everyday English, my hint to the students, actually, in the exam, you will have a question about everyday English. It's very easy to answer because it is someone says something and we have 4 responses. 3 responses will not work and only 1 is going to work.
They just need to understand what they're reading.
If you know the meaning of the words,
It's simple.
you will be able to answer this question. When someone says, I won a prize, of course it's not I'm very sad, and it's not this will not happen again, and it's not I will put you through. It is I'm very happy for you, or congratulations.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
There are some expressions they can memorize, they can read, they can use. So they can be prepared for such kind of questions.
Yeah. Choose A, B, C, or D. Number 1, Ola.
So we don't have to read the
Which one?
being tactful.
Yeah, okay, read it. Sorry.
Okay, so this one in this unit, it's about being tactful. It's kind of being polite instead of being so so direct. So you need to say the same words but in a more polite way. We sometimes soften a message by using particular words or phrases like, for example, we can use the past form that, for example, let's go out. Instead of saying I can't, I won't, we can say, well, I was planning to do something. So we can use the past form to soften the message.
Okay.
We can use models. Yes, please.
We can use models. For example, like in this example, it could have been a bit hotter, or I would go for black instead if I were you. Also, we can use statements not sounding negative, like I think darker colors suit you better. Also, we have another example. I have seen better performances. So not to be negative, that's better. Also, we have adverbs of attitude like honestly, I have heard better signals, or unfortunately the food was salty. We have also an example. So, does this dress look okay, Annie? Well, I think darker colors suit you better. I would go for black instead if I were you.
Yeah. Now we can go to the questions.
Okay. Now, for example, they're going to have such kind of questions, or the questions can be like A, B. So they will have the first statement or question, and the second one, the answer is going to be blanks. They have to fill it with the choices A, B, C, or D.
Yes.
For example, your aunt invites you to a party. To apologize tactfully, you say, well, this is my aunt. I can't be very direct. So, A, honestly, we were planning to go to the cinema. B, no, I don't agree. C, no way. Or D, I don't like that. Well, to be tactful, we can use honestly, this is one, or we can use the past form. We were planning to go to the cinema. This one, because it's an aunt, so he has to be polite
Yeah, so
twice.
it's the best one is
A,
letter
letter
A.
That's
A.
fine.
Number 2.
Number 2, honestly, what did you think of my speech? The choices are A, very bad, go away.
Don't
B,
ask me.
don't ask me. C, very funny. It was sort of interesting at times. D, very ugly. So the stupid answer is C.
C.
Very, very funny. It was sort of interesting at times.
We move on. We come to writing. In the writing section, we have to give you our advices, our pieces of advice. In the exam, dear students,
And this might be the last exam with a paragraph, or
we don't know, but for this year, it's going to be a paragraph.
paragraph, yes.
So you need to write a paragraph. It's not from the book, it's parallel. So you cannot memorize. And if someone gives you kind of paragraphs to memorize, this is not helpful at all.
This is the worst way.
Yes. You should
Yes,
have
done.
done something from the beginning to write sentences. When you join the sentences, sentences are a paragraph. And you cannot memorize any kind of a paragraph because you will have in the exam hints to be followed because it's obligatory. It will say include the following, and you need to mention in your paragraph the elements given in the question. Ms. Ola, your turn to give
Okay.
your advice.
Now, they have to start writing. It's not late. They still have time.
Yes, you still have time.
They have to study some vocabulary, study the meaning, study the way of writing the vocabulary, because spelling mistakes are plenty actually. So you have to write vocabulary that are useful and learn the spelling of these words. Then try to put these words in sentences. So the first step is words, the second step is sentences, and the last step is to connect these sentences into a paragraph. The paragraph has to move on smoothly, of course, between an introduction, the body, which contains the questions or the hints given in the exam, and the conclusion. So all you need is to connect these sentences using words like moreover, in addition to this, something else. You just practice them. And that's the best way. They need
grammar.
to
In the end, after that, so you need to use some conjunctions to connect these sentences,
course.
yes?
and they have to pay attention to the punctuation. I've seen that most students don't really know that the sentence, especially with 9th graders, of course not 12th graders, they don't know that we end the sentence with a full stop. Most students end the sentence with a comma. They don't know the difference between using a comma and a
When
full
the
stop.
sentence is finished,
Yes.
you
So
put a,
the whole
full
paragraph-
stop, and you start with a capital
With a
letter.
capital
course.
letter.
So each sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. I've seen so many paragraphs that with the whole paragraph we only have commas, and the only full stop we have is by
the
the end
end.
of the
They
paragraph.
are going to lose marks for punctuation.
Of course.
And
of
if
course.
they write more words, more than they need in the exam, they may have some mistakes.
More
they make
mistakes,
more
of course.
mistakes.
So it
More
is,
writing,
it is,
more
it is
mistakes.
okay to write
It's
more
okay.
than
They're going to be
needed
read.
words,
Don't be scared.
but
But they
if there
have
are
to pay
mistakes, they
attention.
will lose marks.
They have to
So
pay
some
attention to the
say
writing.
it's not okay to write more than, because the paragraph says write between 70 to 80. If someone wrote 100 words, it's okay. But the problem is if
acceptable.
you have mistakes in
They
the
will
words,
lose
in the
marks.
sentences after the 80 words, you will lose mark.
Of course.
So that's why they
So
may
stay
say
on
They
the
have
safe
to
side.
concentrate on one idea to write about it. They may write about many ideas when they write more lines, so they may be
Distracted.
yes.
And my advice is be as simple as possible.
Of course.
Don't be a very good writer. Be as simple as possible and make your paragraph coherent. Let the sentences go smoothly, and you will get.
Don't try to impress the ones who are correcting the paragraph. It's
Yes.
it's not time to impress.
Sometimes they do this.
Yes. So many students don't really know the rules of correcting the paragraph, and for example, the same way, how to choose the wrong part, the question before writing a paragraph. Again, they are confused. They don't really know how to be examined. So examined in the exam. So I don't know if you have any piece of advice to give about that, choosing the wrong part.
For choosing the wrong part, it can be grammar mistake, so you need to be careful.
They're going
if
to
it
have
is-
4 sentences.
Yeah, 4 sentences. 4 parts are underlined. You are going just to write the number of the question and the letter of the mistake. If you add the word, it's okay. If you just write the letter, it's okay. If you just write the word, it will be okay, or both. But the mistakes can be grammar mistakes, or spelling mistakes, or punctuation mistake, or maybe inversion mistake. So you need to be careful. My advice is, when you don't find the mistake, concentrate. It may be a spelling mistake. Anything to add before we wrap up?
I wish to the students.
Well, I think that
but they have to read more in English to get benefit. Many students read in Arabic, but when they memorize and they learn, but when they get to the exam, they can't answer because they don't know what's written on the paper.
They don't know
That's
the meaning. Exactly.
that's very bad.
No,
Miss Anna?
I was just talking about the hardest part, let's say, the parallel text, finding the mistake and writing, and I think they just need to practice. About the parallel text, they're not going to be, I think, out of the book. Words that are taken in the book, but they have
That's
to
why
different-
we always advise the teachers, don't teach your students saying if you see this, choose that. Teach your students the language. If they know the language, they will be able to solve all the questions. At the end of this session, allow me to thank my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Ula Al-Mouay, English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate, thank you so much.
Thank you, always a pleasure.
And Ms. Rula Bitar,
Thank
English
you
Language
very much.
Teacher, Latakia Directorate. Thank you
sir.
so much. And this is me, Abdul Majid Ugurli. We wish you all the best. Take care and bye-bye.